Okay, so we can start with the feature number one, that is can sort the data. That is good for what? For making it easier to find an individual data. So I was just demonstrating you can sort your data in what? In an ascending order. Like for example, if you wanted to, to sort according to the names, or maybe if the name starts, all the names, if we go to the ascending order, it means that maybe if your first name starts with letter A, in most cases you will appear at the top. So A to Z, and then the descending is the opposite. It's maybe from the Z to A. Or we can also say from the large, or with that, if you are dealing with the numerics and then you are sorting, maybe we can sort it from the what? From the small to what? To the largest. To the largest for that case. So in Anzia, very small value to the smallest. So there is two options sorting. We can either sort ascending to what? But if we together for values, small to the largest or the largest to the small, and the vice versa. So I'll demonstrate on how to do that. I will demonstrate how to do that practically. So I will stop sharing the screen for the notes and then I go to another screen. So that is an example of a data set. That is an example of a data set. We have the model, we have the scenarios, we have okay, there is a problem. Let me stop and then I can reshare. Okay, so that is the data. I hope you can see it. That is the data. So we have the models, we have the generation, we have the operating system, items, the price, the code. So like, for example, if I need to sort them according as per the model. So what I will do, I will simply come to this feature here. And then, I can sort it from what? From the A to Z or even the opposite. So this one is ascending order. You will realize that my first column now, it may change. If I undo, undo, unaona, hapo ukiona inaanza na a model in the HP, and then nikikuja select the model, and then I come to the what? Nikuje kwa this sorting thing, and then I sort it from A to Z. That is the ascending order. This is the descending order, and then I click. It automatically changes. It automatically changes. But when you are just sorting your data in a spreadsheet, you are supposed to be very keen and seeing, does the related information of whatever you are sorting, does it affect? Because, like for example, nikikuja hapa the first one, you realize the HP ilikuwa na generation, it was the 50th generation, ilikuwa inatumia operating system inaitwa Windows, and then the item number was that, and then price ni 13,000, and then it is first quarter, and then the number of the items sold is 50, and then that was the total sale. If I change this cell, if I sort the first one, if I sort, like for example, first of all, I need to highlight. I need to highlight. So I will do this, and then I press Control because I don't want it to include this one. I don't want it to include my model in sorting. So I will highlight the entire column, and then you press Control, and then nitoe here, the first heading there. Then now I'll come to the what? You'll come to the sort, and then you sort it to Okay, it is okay. So I can as well, I can just highlight. Because it is a very small data. I can just highlight, and then nikisha highlight nikuje kwa sort. So if you sort, there is a window, the sorting warning there. What do you want to sort? Expand the selection, continue with the current selection. So you are supposed to go to the expand so that it can affect the entire data. So you are supposed to expand, and then so that all, okay, the first word, the first model ikichange inaenda na its other related word, its other related information. So, but if you continue with the current selection, it will only affect that word. It will affect only that column, and then it will not make sense at all. So it's you are supposed to expand. If you expand, unaona sasa hata ESAS, unaona operating system yake ni macOS, and then the item number, the price, the quota number of the item sold. So that is it. So you are supposed to expand when you are sorting your data. So you know now, if I wanted the information about an individual, like about that item, like ESAS, and then I knew that ESAS were in a start na he. So that is, may sort it in ascending order. I can as well sort it in descending order. Ukikuja hapa, you sort it from set to the other one, and then make sure that imekuwa expanded, and then inakuwa hivyo. So that is where that feature, this feature you are seeing here, this is where this feature inatumika. This is where this feature called the sorting. So we have also the absolute and relative reference. We have the absolute and relative reference. So I want us to go to the question, and I want us to go to the August 2022. In your past paper, you go to the August 2022 question number 3D. Question number 3D. You go to that. You go to your past paper to that question, and then it is about the absolute and relative referencing. It is about the absolute and relative referencing. So, and then before we continue, because now we know what absolute and relative referencing makes setting up the formula easier, but you need to write this. There are two types of self-referencing. There are two types of the self-referencing. You make sure that you write those. It is the more information you had up in your notes. So it is, there are two types of self-reference. One, we have the relative. We have the relative cell. We have the relative cell referencing. We have relative cell reference. We have the relative cell reference. And then we have also, we have the absolute. This is one, and then two, we have the absolute. We have the absolute cell references. We have two. There are two types of cell referencing. One relative, and then we have the absolute. Relative and absolute references behave differently when copied to another cell. Relative and absolute reference behave differently when copied to another cell. So, but you're supposed to know that we have two types of what? Of cell reference. And then I hope all of us, we are in our question number one. Question August 2022, question 3D, because that is where you can know how you can answer that question without any problem. So first of all, let us write this one. Let us write this. Relative and absolute references behave differently when copied to another cell. Relative reference change when a formula is copied to another cell. A relative reference change when a formula is copied to another cell. Relative references change when a formula is copied to another cell. While the absolute reference on the other hand remain constant, no matter where they are copied. And then I will demonstrate also that one practically. I will demonstrate it practically. I will share the screen, and then I will demonstrate the difference so that we will be in a position to answer that question without any challenges. So so I will stop sharing the screen of the notes, and then we go to the what? We go to the spreadsheet. So that next time, maybe you make sure that if you have a laptop or something near you, okay, so we come to the, this is how to do it. So, so that is a spreadsheet. What? It is a spreadsheet. We have two values. We have the two values there. So, like for example, if I start with the equal sign, because always, you know, if you don't want these things ikusumbue in any way, unafaa ujue Excel yenyewe kuitumia practically, not theoretical. Because you know we use the computers practically, not theoretical. Sasa if you rely on the theory part of it, you will be in trouble, my friend. So you need at least to be understanding these things practically. Like for example, for all the functions in a spreadsheet, there are four parts. You have the whole part, or you can call it layout. One, we have equal sign. One is equal sign, is the equal sign, which is your equal sign. Every formula, especially if we deal with the functions, you have to start with an equal sign. And then number two, we have the function name. Number three, we have the parentheses. What I mean by the parentheses, I mean the opening and closing of what? Of the bracket. And then number four, we have what we call the argument. We have the argument. So, and then this argument can be what? Can be numeric, can be dealing with numeric values. It can be the logical. It can be the logical operations. So what I mean by the logical operations, it is like greater than or equal to, less than, equal to, and so on. That is what I mean by logical. Sometimes also we do what? We use the texting. We need to know your argument is about the texting. Like for example, if I'm trying to compute the what? The relief. If I'm trying to perform computation about a relief, and then let us say the criteria is that if you are married, and then the opposite of married is what? Is being single. So if you are married, unapewa relief ya maybe let us say 600. This is just an assumption. So if it is 700, and then if you are married, unapewa 700 multiply by the number of the what? By the number of the children you have. Multiply by the number of the kids you have. If I have, like for example, 10 kids, it will be 10 multiplied by what? You multiply by 700. You multiply by what? Multiply by 700. So in this scenario, if we use the function, if you are using the function, this is how you will represent it. This is how you will come up with your formula. This is how you will come up with your formula. And I'm expecting you people to be writing some short notes about the same. So this is how you will do it. So this one we use a function inaitwa heap. So nimetumia the first part, equal sign, which is the requirement, and then remember the function name. My function name will be what? Will be if. And then I go to the parentheses, which is the what? Which is the part number 2. And then now my argument is so nitaenda kwa column, naenda kwa ile column ya marital status. I'll go to the column of the marital status. Assuming that this is my worksheet. If this is my worksheet, and then I have the headings of my worksheet. So like for example, this is marital status, and then the number, this is the number of the children. So I need only 2 variables here. I require only 2 variables. I require the what? The marital status and the what? And the number of children of each and every employee. So I'm using the if function if I need to find out the relief. So my next column, it will be the relief because I need to compute the relief there. So now what I will do, so I've already used the first one equal sign and then if and then the parentheses, and then now I will highlight the marital status here because that is my logical test. That is my logical test. So I will highlight if I show that it was A2 or A1. If A1 is equals to single, and then whatever I'm using here, to single, I can as well use what? Married. I can as well use married, but I can as well use this option for what? For married, and then I close. But what is very important here is that if we are using, I'm trying to elaborate about your function in the argument. I'm explaining the text part of it, not the word, not the numeric, then not the logical, but I'm explaining the word, the text. So if it is equals to married, so this is a text. It is not a numeric. It is not an integer. It is a string or it is a text. So when we are applying a text in a formula in a spreadsheet, you are supposed to use the opening and closing quote. That was what I was trying to explain. So if it is married, so I've defined what I want. So comma. So it means that it is 700. It is 700. But for our case here, we don't type the 700 because we are not doing it manually. We are using what? We are using the computer. So what you will do, you will be selecting the what? No, that one 700, it is okay. We can either make it absolute or equal self-referencing because they keep on changing. No, that 700 yes change because it is, if you are married, it is changes. So it is a relative. It is a relative. We don't have to make it absolute. So you could have a number of the children and then you multiply by what? So 700 you multiply by the number of the children. Now you click for each cell of the number of the children, and then 700 times the number of what? The number of kids, and then comma. So that is if it is true, if your argument is true, if Excel find out that in your cell if kuna hii kitu inaitwa married inakubali it is true, so it means that this person is married. So wanakupatia 700 multiply by the number of the kids yenye itakuwa, which will be in this cell. Otherwise you are single. So if you are single, it is comma, and then now it will be what? That one it will be this is what we'll do here. You will be doing this. It will be the it will be 600. It will be 600. We multiply by what? By say 600 only. It is 600, and then you close the bracket. So that is how that function. So you realize that we have used the 4 parts of the what? Of the function. We have the equal sign. We have the function name. We have the argument. But I've explained specifically on the texting. We have the argument, and then I've closed it a parenthesis. So which is this one is 1, we have 2, we have 3, and then okay. So it's supposed to be what? It's supposed to be the equal sign, it's supposed to be name, supposed to be okay. We have also this part. We have, so this one is 3. The parenthesis is this one. So we have 1, we have this is the equal sign, this is the function name, this is the parenthesis, this is the argument. So it is 4. So it is good for you as a student to master these things, and then you will be handling questions like the one you are seeing in HAKASTI 2022 question 3D. If you understand it, for the matter of understanding it, not cramming it, you will not be having any issues in answering those questions. I will answer that question shortly. So so that is it. So we can now go to the what? I was trying to demonstrate the difference between the relative cell reference and then absolute cell reference as indicated in the word in that question. So here nikikuja kusema equal sign and then I say maybe this one multiply by the, I'm just using this one as an example. It is not the real data, it is just a teacher's data for demonstration purposes. So if I press enter and then I do highlighting here and then I use a formula to copy the formula. I have to, in a way, recalculate. You don't have to be doing it one by one, otherwise you will be doing it manually. What is the need of us using the computer? And then you still do unafanya moja moja. And then nilikuwa nimewaambia, I think in my previous in this lesson previously, that this spreadsheet contain up to 1.5 million of records. So assuming that if you do that one, I think you utaimaliza after election 2027. Ukiweka one by one, it is very tedious, it is cumbersome. You will not do it, you will not manage. But and then that was not even the objective of the designer of the spreadsheet. The designer alikuwa anataka this thing make work very easy for you. So and then we do what? You use a shortcut. So if you wanted to copy the same formula I've applied in the cell number 1, you will just press control, you press the control plus D. You will press control plus D. It will copy it automatically. So I press control and D, and then the other answers itakuwa nini? Itakuwa displayed. Munaona there is a value where it's 0. If you multiply 0 plus a number, it will be definitely a 0. That is why you are seeing 0 there. So this one is the relative. This one is the relative. Whatever I've demonstrated there, I've demonstrated number 1 here. It is the relative cell reference, because you realize that it changes. Nikikuja hapa unaona imechange, it is C3. Nikuja hapa imekuwa before. It keep on changing as you drag downwards or as you autofill. It keep on changing. So as vile tulikuwa tumeandika relative, and tulikuwa relative changes when a formula is copied to another cell. Either one, if you go one step, or even 1,000 or even 1 million cells, they keep on changing. So kila kitu yenye unaona it is what changing, that is what it is a relative. It is a relative. But now, so something like this, ukiona cells zako zikiwa the way it is, you know that is a what? That is a relative. Okay, there is also a way they usually do so that it can not confuse you. There is also a way they use a formula. They use a function, sorry. Hiyo nimetumia cell address formula. They use a function. Like for example, equal sign, I'm using the same thing, but I'm using a function now. So if I double click, and then I selected the to range, and then I close the bracket, and then I press enter. So it is still the same thing. It is still the same thing, but now I've used the what? I've used a function. I've used it. It is not. So okay, let me just repeat it. Equal sign. So I'm using a function, and then this one, you can highlight it like the way I'm highlighting, and then I press enter. Okay, and then press enter. And then now, if I highlight like the way I'm highlighting, and then I press N and I press D, in a new autophilia the what? In a new autophilia the other answers. So I'm wondering my change it over. So now for this one, it is still the absolute. It is still what? Relative. It is still relative because nikikuja chini yake unaona they keep on changing, ina change, ukiangalia ina change, uangalia ina change, and then ina change. Now let us now try to use the absolute. Let us try to use the absolute. The absolute is a situation where we do what? let me just use this one for the function. Let me use the function, and then I selected this one. Maybe I selected that, and then maybe I selected the two. But EC, I make it absolute. I make it absolute by pressing what? By pressing F4. You press the functional keys F4. You press the functional key F4. So if you wanted to make your cell equal absolute, whether it is one cell, whether it is two, we usually press what? F4, especially if you are using all other computers except the Lenovo. If you are using the Lenovo one, you will not manage to use the F4. You will be using start. Unaona hiyo kitu inakaa bendera. That one, a flag you press that one, and then you will press what? You press F4. But all other computers, all other laptops, you press F4. And then you realize that if you make it absolute, sorry. Okay, let me just first of all highlight, and then I close the bracket. I highlight, and then I close the bracket, and then after closing the bracket, highlight C3, and then I press F4 to make it absolute. And then I press it enter. Now you realize that the exam grade hiyo 82 will not be changing. Hebu tuangalie, let me kwanza apply all the formula here. If I press Control D, unikipucha hapa, unaona bado ni okay, so you realize that there is this a cell hapo inakuwa constant I change. You know, there is a cell I change, and I think this one it is not bringing it the way I wanted it to bring. So let me just this one equal sign, and then this one plus plus this. And then E cell, I press F4, I make it absolute, and then I press enter. Yeah, hebu angalia sasa. Hiyo yenye nimeweka, that dollar yenye nimeweka absolute, that is the $2 between. There is a C2, I move, unaona vile iko. So that is what we call absolute. Hiyo the first one Okay, Masi, anybody else I own whatever I'm demonstrating? Elvis? Okay, so okay. So let me. Is it visible now? Is it visible now? Evelyn, Elvis, is it visible? Okay, thank you. Asikuwa najua kama haifanyi hivyo. Okay, so I think now I will start, but because nataka I will start that thing I wanted to demonstrate it, that thing because it is it. Okay, so we go to the what? Let us say that I wanted to calculate the total. So nimekuja ya kwanza. Let me start with what? Let me start with the relative cell referencing. So this one equal sign, and then this times this one. I press enter. And then if I highlight everything and then Control D, inanipatia the answers of the others. And then you realize this one, the relative, because the formula keep on changing depending on the this one unaona ni C2, nikikuja hapa zote zina change, B3 C3, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. They keep on changing, they keep on changing, they keep on changing, they keep on changing. So if they keep on changing like that, which is normal, which is what is required anyway, you don't have to be doing repeating the same thing. The Excel does that automatically. So that is what the relative cell referencing. So if you see something like this one, wakwambia is this, unaangalia kwa formula hapo, we have used the cell address formula, but it is what? It is relative cell referencing. Since we have two types of what? Of cell referencing, so what the formula I've applied there in fall under the what? Under the relative cell relative cell referencing. So let me demonstrate the one for there. Let me just demonstrate it here. E cosine, and then hours studied multiplied by what? By the exam. But now I wanted to make the cell for the grade absolute. I wanted to make it absolute. So I make it absolute by pressing F4. So I made it absolute by pressing F1, then I press enter. So it is the same thing. I control D. Now it is totally different because E number yes change. Unaona hii ya kwanza, this one, it is constant. It is constant. It is constant. So it will say 8 multiplied by 82, 11 multiplied by 82, 3 multiplied by 3, like that, like that, like that, like that. And then this is the evidence. So ebu angalia hiyo yenye imewekwa between. Ukiona anything in the spreadsheet yenye iko na dollars in between, kama si sasa ni cell 3 and then there is dollar sign in between, that is an absolute cell referencing. That is an absolute cell referencing. So if you click on the what? If you click on the next cell, you are seeing it changes. It keep on changing. It keep on changing. It only the one cell, that is the hours, started keep on changing. But the what? But the exam grade imekuwa constant kwa ile ya kwanza. Then that was what? That was it was designed to be like that for the what? For the absolute cell referencing. So let us go now to the question and then we can answer that question. Let us go to that question. Let us go to that question and then we try to identify the type of cell referencing used in the spreadsheet expression below. So there we have so when answering a question like that, when you are answering a question like that, this is what you are supposed to do. What should come to your mind, first of all, you'll write. So E cosine, which is the part of the inatumia function. Now unajua function iko na how many parts or layout. It has the E cosine and then it has the run. E run the function name. And then the parentheses. And then now we have an absolute cell referencing. See, we have an absolute cell referencing, and then that is why ukiona iko na dollar sign between the cell address, that is the absolute cell referencing. Absolute cell referencing. You divide it by what? Not divided, and then 2. Also another absolute cell reference absolute, and then A, and then times 10, and then there is 10 there, and then 0, and then you close the bracket. So you identify the type of cell referencing. So in cell what? It is in cell C, it is in cell 3, in cell 3, in cell 3, in cell C3, they have applied in cell 3 in the argument. In the argument, but in that function, this is how you will write it. This is how you write it. In what do we call? You just write something. in functions in a spreadsheet, we have 4 parts. We have the equal sign, we have the function name, we have the parentheses, we have the argument, and then we have the argument score. So in the argument part, in specifically cell C3, the examiner has applied the absolute cell reference. Even also in the what? In cell what? In cell A10. A10 also it has applied the same. So it means that whatever in that the formula, even if I drag, it will be constant. It will be multiplying by the same 2 cells. Yes, move even if you move, the formulas will not change. The formula will not change at all, because they have applied the absolute cell referencing. While number 2, that one for the sum, only A3 they may apply cell what we call the absolute reference, and then the other one is the relative. That one is relative because it will keep on changing. So if I drag it downwards, I get A13, A14, so it will be changing because it is a relative. It is a relative cell referencing. It is a relative cell referencing. And then we have also another question there, which is related with done it just a few minutes ago about differentiate. So here ilikuanga ni C, sorry. So hii yenye tulikuwa tunafanya, it was question 3 ni a HACCP question. It is HACCP 2022 question 3 C and D. We have C and D. Differentiate between sorting and filtering used in a worksheet data management. Differentiate between the sorting and filtering. So differentiate between sorting and filtering. So I explained it to you nikitumia that data set for computer models, how we can perform our sorting. You can sort it from the ascending to descending. But now, if we come to the filtering, tukikuja kwa filtering, that one, what we do, we extract a part of the data in that data set. For example, according to the user request, or according to the user criteria, according to the user criteria. So filtering in a way that if I need the cells for this week, the cells which was, or kama salesman yenye aliuza more than 3,000 in the first week. So I will not be using the what? The sorting feature. I will be using what? I will be using the filtering, because the filtering has that ability. Like for example, if I use this one, and then nikuje nifanye nini, nikikuja kwa filter, and then I click the drop down button, nikuja hapo, if I need this maybe max, which is greater than 60. If I click OK, it will only give me the values. It will only give me the values. It will only give me the values which is greater than 60. Anything below, it will not be displayed. And then maybe I can copy this data. And then copying it is very easy. Students, what you do, you highlight and then Control A, and then you Control A. Or if you Control A, I can as well Control Z. And then now I can paste it down here. I Control V. So, and then I'll go back to my filter thing, and then I remove. So I already now have my my original data set, and then as well as I have a filtered data there. I will have a filtered data there. That is for those who have scored exam grade 60 and above. So that is the what? That is the filtering. But now sorting, una sort to in ascending or descending, or from, if it is values, from the largest number to the smallest, or the vice versa, from the smallest to the largest. So I hope now that one you know how you put it, because I don't want you to cram, nataka uelewe ni nini. So you can write it in your own way, but umejua sasa the one is what? Sorting ni kufanya hivyo, and then filtering is extracting information from original data set, and then meet the user requirement. And then I've used an example of that exam grade students when you are score 60 and above. I can as well filter the students when you're 60 and below. I can as well go to the revision. Mtu mwenye revise 10 hours and above, and then the filter facility will do that for me, automatically. I can as well use what do you call an advanced filter. I can use an advanced filter where I use the same thing. I'll come here, I copy this information, and then I press Control V, and then ukikuja hapo sasa, I need to use the same thing. So here nitakuja greater than 60. And then the beauty of this one, it is more effective compared to the other one. So for the advanced, I don't have to copy and paste. I will just have my criteria array. This is what we call the criteria array. This is the criteria. I have my criteria array. So what I will do, I will select my data set. I will just select my data set by selecting any. I select any place within my data set, and then I press Control. I press the Control A. I press Control A, and then once you have pressed the Control A, I'll go to the word data. I'll go to the data, and then I come to the advanced here, and then criteria array. I selected the criteria array as this is my criteria array. I select my criteria, and then I copy to the location of my choice. I can select, I can paste it in anywhere, in any place in Naitaka. So, for example, I've selected that area, and then I press enter, and then I will get the same thing. So this is more efficient compared to the other method. But the bottom line of it, that is the function of a filter. So I hope now you will not be having any issue about the question number 3. That is C and D. I think we'll handle question E to discuss about the word processing. So because at the end of the day, we'll be handling all questions and related to whatever we are discussing in class. And then also I will be requesting you people, because already you have the notes in soft copy, you'll make sure that as you read those notes, and then you go also through the past papers, so that at least you see how that questions are set. As also we prepare ourselves for exam. Okay, so now I think I'm clear about the explanation about this relative, self-reference, and then absolute, and then there is so many other things. Okay, those parts of the functions, in the parts of the functions in a spreadsheet there, having in your mind. This is a function. We have so many of them. We have some. We have the product. We have SQRT. We have mode. We have if, we have hand, we have lefty and right, we have the left, we have the right, and many others. We have over 1,000 functions which has been categorized. We have the mathematical, we have the financial, we have the logical, we have date and time, so many of them, and so many of them for that case, so many of them. So we can continue. Okay, so that was about the word, the absolute relative reference, and I've explained it. We can protect certain cells from changes. We can use the absolute, we can use the cell, we can use the absolute referencing to protect our cells from changing, and to make the model more robust. And then user interface forms. Also, Excel provide us with the user, with the user, what we call the graphic user interface. And then we have Okay. We have also this thing called the macro language support, allows complicated subroutine functions to be written. So this one, it is a situation where when I'm using a function, when I'm using an Excel or when I'm using a spreadsheet function, when I'm using an Excel function, if at all you have challenges in writing the formula, if you have challenges in writing the formula, there is where you can what? You can go to the what? Formulas, show the formula, you can write them. You can write them and then you try to internalize them. Automatic reconciliation. I've demonstrated that. We did like, for example, we were performing calculation, maybe the one for the multiplication. So you multiply for the first cell and then you highlight and then control D, or you autofill or you double click, and then the other formulas will be calculated automatically. You don't have to do it one by one. And then we have the conditional formatting. We have the conditional formatting. It is a very important feature in a spreadsheet. I like certain numbers of interest, such as profit and loss. So if you ukitaka ku let me just share screen niwaonyeshe this one how it works. So if I highlight, like for example, this data, okay, so we can just use this. Let me apply the conditional formatting to this data set you are seeing here. So I can maybe go for the cells. I can go for the cells. So I will, okay, maybe just do this. Okay. Maybe I highlight and then nikuje kwa conditional formatting. Nikuje kwa, I go back to home, nikuje the conditional formatting. So I highlight and then I selected the rule, the rules of my choice. Maybe I need the cells which is less than, maybe less than or greater than maybe 250,000. 250,000. So I've selected greater than, so it is not below, it is greater than. All the values which are greater than 250,000 will be highlighted in red, the way you are seeing. We can as well change it, maybe ikue ordered the way you are seeing there, ikue hivyo. So that is the what? That is the work of the conditional formatting. That is the work of the conditional formatting. Okay, that is it. So conditional formatting. And then we have also this feature of importing and exporting support. So spreadsheets also, it has an ability of doing what? An ability of doing what? You can export data to, you can import from a database, you can import from even a different workbook. And then we can as well export the data from the spreadsheet to maybe statistical package, to accounting package like QuickBooks. So ku import ni kutoa information from a different, maybe a different database, unailete kwa Excel, maybe for manipulation or for reporting purposes, or uchukue tena information from the spreadsheet kuipeleke to another program, another program. So actually the spreadsheet has that ability. And then we have there searching and filtering. It has also this option of, if you need a specific record, you don't have to go manually. You'll just search, ask that search feature, and then also filtering with the one we discussed just a few minutes ago. Very good when looking for a specific data in the model. And then lookup tables. For the lookup tables, we have what we call the table arrays. We have the table arrays. We have the table arrays. So this table arrays is very important when we are doing what? Okay, lookup tables. In this table array, you're supposed to look in this table array a small table. Let us say I have a small table here, which I have maybe 80. I'm from 77 from 70 to 80. So in its score, and then this is the grade. It is A. And then maybe from 60 to 70, it is B. Maybe from 50 to 60, it is maybe a C. So this is the table array. So I'm supposed to use what we call I can either look them vertically, which is possible here, and then I can also use it maybe in A, and then B, and then C, and then now you work at the same thing. So E, and then this E equal grade, and then E ingine equal max. Nikitafuta in this method, and then you work maybe 80 to 70 to 80, something like that. So this one I'll be looking such values in the table horizontally. Horizontally. With this one, we use a function named VLOOKUP. We are using the VLOOKUP, and then this one, which is HLOOKUP. This one is the HLOOKUP. So tunatafuta tukitumia formula. This one I can look the values here vertically, column-wise, while the horizontally I can look them horizontally or the row-wise. So that is about that use extensively in modeling and store values. So and then pivot table, very powerful tool to summarize a huge amount of data into one table. So we use the pivot table for the summarizing. So if I need only the names and then cells, and then there is other variables which is not necessary, I have to use the pivot table. We have also pivot charts. So the pivot charts, it is just a representation of the information in the pivot table, but you are representing it now graphically in graphs. You will be using the what? You will be using graphs, not the what? That the values in the table. As I said earlier, if you use these graphs, it is more, somebody can understand it more easily. And like when you are doing what? When we use the values in the tables. And then we have also the replication is to create a list of values by simply dragging down a certain way. A replication, yeah. So we can use this one, we can use the series as seen when nikikuwa na something like this, maybe 001, ama ukiwa na DTV Destiny Technical Training Institute. Let us say DTI. So DTI, maybe this is your admission number 0012. So if I need to come up with something like this in a spreadsheet, it is very important. So maybe this is only two easy numbers itakuwa zina change. Maybe from DT high it will remain the same, maybe 0013 ikiendelea huko. So so if I wanted to drag this one, what we call if I wanted to drag it, nilikutia na hiyo sequence vile the way nime design it. So like for example, let us say I have DT high and then 0012, and then maybe in selecting mpaka somewhere hapa, and then I will come to the fill and then series. And then now I do autofill. So you realize that it will be selecting it for me automatically. It will be selecting for me. It will be selecting for me automatically. Unaona DT high 0012, DT high 0013, DT high 0014. It will select that automatically. Or if it is numbers, that one I can say 1, then maybe kisha click 1, kuje kwa fill, then series. Hapo ukuje useme maybe unataka uweke mpaka 20 or something like that, and then select the column wise, and then I click OK. That is also part of the work. Hizo zingine you don't have to be typing it one by one. You can use such features in what? In a spreadsheet. You can use such features in a spreadsheet. So we have the database lookup. We can also connect. We can connect it to using spread. We can connect it to external database to get values or to get some information. Worksheet supported, very good for splitting. Worksheet supported, very good for splitting parts of the model. Very good for splitting parts of the model. Graphing. Pie charts, etc. Each good for presentation data in a different way. So this graphing over hiyo ingine nitawa explain, hiyo nimeacha moja. So graphing, it is representing your data by what? Una represent ukitumia maybe the pie chart, the bar, the column, the line, the scatter plot. You represent the values you have in your table ukitumia the graphs. So for example, the pie charts, it means that when you are dealing with two variables, maybe sales against the average, sales against the score, we can use the graphing for that case. You can expect any spreadsheet software package to include the feature, but it is the characteristics of each package that helps you choose which one to use or buy. Which one the characteristics will does what? The characteristics of each package that will help you to choose which one to use. So let us go to the formatting and editing function. So I think also I've demonstrated about hii sana. Hii ni cell address formula yenye unaona hapo. Most basic way of using a spreadsheet is to use it as a glorified calculator where you simply enter some values, then apply a formula to work out the answer, and then okay, so most people can quickly master the use of the basic formula and can use spreadsheet to add together list of things, multiply a few items, and come up with a grand total. However, there are literally hundreds of different formula and functions already built into spreadsheet. They allow you to use spreadsheet not just for basic calculation, but also for statistical analysis as a database for modeling different scenarios. Over the next few words, that is, we will look for formula and functions and also discuss the different relative absolute reference addresses, of which I've already demonstrated. Tukijibu hiyo swali niliwaonyesha how the absolute and relative cell reference differ. So definition, we have a variable only value which can change. So variables, they always change, only a value in a change. This is an example of a variable. This is an example of a variable. This is an example of a variable. An example of a variable. So nikikuja head, ama nikikuja kwa cells. The word cell, it is the variable. Then now numbers 300, maybe 360, maybe 400. So this one they keep on changing. Maybe if I have like for example the cells, kama nikiwa na item and then the sales and then the quantity. So you know ile quantity yenye uliuza ndio ina determine the sales. So this keep on changing. But in the word spreadsheet, the formula remain constant. The formula remain constant. The formula remain constant. The formula remain constant. The formula yes change, but anything else in it can change. That one can change. So I think that one, see, it is not an issue. It is something you can interpret. Those are simple formulas they have used there. Those are simple formulas they have used there. Because it is addition. You can even try to apply it to Kitumia your computer. You can try using it in your computer. So still the cell address formula. But tukikuja hapo kwa functions, definition of a function. A function is a standard routine used to perform common tasks. It represents a complex formula that uses reserved words, e.g., VLOOKUP, and then if. But ndio kuwe sawa kwa these functions, make sure that we separate your parts. Ngapi? In where equal sign, the formula, what the formula function like that one, VLOOKUP or if, and then the parenthesis, which is the bracket, and then the argument inside there. If you go there, if you do your own design, you will not be having any problem with that, or defining even a function for that case. A function performs a specific set of operations on its input value to produce a single output value. A function performs a specific set of operations on its input values to produce a single output value. The main spreadsheet applications available today have hundreds of ready-made functions that you can use. For instance, what is demonstrated there? What is demonstrated there? And then, but what if you had to have 30,000 numbers? By far, the easiest thing to do is to use the built-in function called sum, the sum, and provide with range and number to be added. So like this one. So you are dealing with large volume of data set. I'm supposed to use this function. Otherwise, I can as well use what? The cell address formula, where I say A1 multiplied by D7. So if I'm dealing with at least two variables, it's very easy for me to do this. Maybe A1 multiplied by D or D3 or something like that, equal sign. So this one multiplied by this one, I get the answer. But if you are dealing with so many variables, so that means that we are supposed to do what? That means that we are supposed to do what? That means that I'm supposed to come here, equal sign, and then I use the sum function, and then I select the range. I selected the range, and then I close the bracket. What I mean by the range, when I select the entire column, when I select the entire column there, when I select the entire column, that is the range, and then you will definitely get what? Your addition. It will be happening the values your column. But if I use sum, but assuming that I use another function, like what? Like product. If I use the product, it will be doing what? Multiplication. It will be doing multiplication. And then assume that if I use another function, SQRT. See, this SQRT is meant for square root. And then make the square root. I open the bracket. I need the square root of the total. So I will select the total, but not the edit where we have the figures. So this function will do what? It will give me the square root of the value of the totals here. So if I get this value, if I multiply that value by what? Assume that if it is assuming that the total here is equal to 256, So it is 226 for that case. But you don't have to select, I like it. We to select the number. No, you don't select the number. What usually happens, you select the address. So the number in the pattern is select, even if it is 9. So if I multiply 9 times 9, if I multiply that number by itself, it will give me the total. So that is the square root of that number, that function. And then maybe if it is mod, so mod, it is more of statistical. It is more of statistical function. So mod inatafuta ile number yenye imeappear most, yenye imeappear more than 1 in a cell, in the cell range. If it has appeared more than 1 in a cell range, now we do what? Kama imeappear more than 1, ndio unatumia. Ukitaka to find out the values yenye imeappear more than 1 in a function, we use the what? We use the mod function. And then we have also the what? The max. The max. If you wanted to find the largest value, you find the largest value in that range, we use the max function. If you wanted to find the smallest, we use the what? We use the mean. We use the mean function. And then if you wanted to count the number of the values in your range, we use the count. We use the count function. We use the count function. And then also, if we need the average, we need the average. If we need the average, we use the average. We use the average. We use the average function. We use the average function. I've not indicated that there, but I've included at least the 3 parts of what? Of a function. And then assuming that if you need now to advance your functions, we have, like, for example, the count. We have the count if, we have the sum if, we have in many other. I will not be listing all of them because there are so many. There are so many, but at least I've indicated there. These powerful functions, they can carry out complicated operations on the set of numbers very easily. Other very common functions are, we have the VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP looks up a value in a table vertically. Vertically, what they have not indicated there is vertically. We have the average. The average works out the average of the set of the numbers in the range. And then we have the count if. The count if adds up numbers meeting a certain criteria. HE greater than, equal to, the user criteria for that case. And then we have the one for the standard deviation. The standard deviation, that is a statistical function called a standard deviation. We have also dsum, a powerful way of summarizing values meeting a given criteria or criteria. So we make sure that you try to use those functions. If you only ask, nataka sisi wote ikifika December, I don't want any question yenye inapertain the spreadsheet itisumbue in any way. Hiyo yote tunaweka kwa mfuko, tuweke kwa mfuko, tuende kwa watu, tuweke kwa mfuko before we come to the next topic. We try as much as possible, whatever we are discussing here, and then whatever it is indicated in notes, there is a high possibility that will come. But we make sure that also we compare it with our what? With our past papers there. We have also the week number, find the date, number in the year, that inputs date follows within. We have also other functions come now. We have now, we have today. We have so many functions. We have so many functions, the date functions. Functions can also be combined in a formula to make even more complicated operation. For example, we have combined there. How many functions are combined? How many functions are combined? 3. We have sum function, we have the average, we have the vertical lookup. We have vertical lookup. But for you, if you wanted to be okay with this one, I can request you to come to Destiny Training Institute, and then you enroll for Advanced Excel. You enroll for Advanced Excel. I will be taking you through, and then you will be very okay. You will be very okay. Na hii Advanced Excel yenye unafanya si ati ya kupita tu. Hiyo Advanced Excel itasaidia wewe ufanye nini? you do your work, because you can apply it in the what? In your job. Una apply in the job, and then so utakuwa unatumia kitu moja kwanza kwa kupita exam, ingine utatumia kwa job. It will make work very easy for you, because mostly I understand most of the evening students ni watu wanafanya kazi. So and then this Excel, it's not something to be you don't take it for granted. You need at least to understand it, and then understand it well. This formula sums a range of values, multiplies the results by the average of another range of numbers, then finally adds another number obtained from a lookup tables. I'm just explaining what we have up there. And then people can be very creative combining functions to work out complicated problems. So sometimes you need only to be an Excel expert for you to combine those functions, because I understand, and then I'm almost sure that even a majority of the students, even in my class here, ata to combine these formulas, or even using the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP sometimes is not an area easy thing. So not now talking about combining. So we combine these functions now, here itakuwa ni disastrous. So you know, those things, they are very easy. Students, they are very easy. We do these things, especially for this unit for the ICT. It is very easy because we tackle topic by topic. Together, sasa in this whatever this topic this topic about the overview application packages. Tumeanzia spreadsheet, and then in that spreadsheet tumeenda ku past papers tukaangalia zile questions zenye zinaulizwa. Wewe useme there is a possibility siwezi kosa karibu 10 or 5 marks hapa, and then tuende kwa Word, and then tuangalie tena, tuende tena kwa another application. So at the end of the day, when you will be doing your own revision, at least unachukua, and then of the day, if you compare it, you definitely pass the ICT paper. You will, because you ukue unique na vile watu wengine wanasoma. Wewe criteria yetu kwa ICT tutatumia hiyo. Tutakuwa tunasema kwa ICT how many questions tulipata, na hizo questions tulipata for which sittings, and then which question. So does it mean that they usually wanna set for that specific question 3, question 2 or something? We can do the analysis. We can use the spreadsheet to do what? To predict. We can use the spreadsheet to predict. We can predict. We can use the what? The spreadsheet to predict, because we can forecast what will happen, how they will set it the exam. We can do our own prediction. We can do our own prediction. Okay. So the difference between the formula and functions. So you need to have that table. We have the tables with 2 columns. We have the formula, and then we have the function. A formula is typed directly into the formula bar, and then while a function is built into the software. Function is built in the software. It is special type of formula. So a formula is typed. So I type it direct. I type it direct. So if you type that, if you come up with your own formula, like for example, this A1 plus B2, that is what the cell address. If I do that, this is like that. Right? If I do that, this is a built-in one. This is a built-in. This is a formula. But now function is already there. It's already there. It's a matter of you selecting and then familiar on how to use it. And then unable to nest a formula. Unable to nest a formula. Can nest the function. Can nest the function. And then formulas are simple calculations. We only use the formulas when we are handling a simple calculation. And then functions are used to simplify complicated maths. If you are dealing with a complicated maths, I recommend you use the what? You use the functions, not the formula. Formula do not have built-in. They don't have the built-in wizard. They don't have the built-in wizard. What I mean by the built-in, we select, like for example, the if function. We select the if function. Inakupatia a dialog box where we have the logical where we have the logical test, and then here you have the true, and then we have the false. So it is upon us, the users of the spreadsheet, to determine our logical test here to be done. Is it Pareto status? And then things like that. And then for the formula, aina hiyo win, aina hiyo built-in wizard. A function often as built-in wizard to help you complete the what? Complete them, enable you to complete them. So it is only a matter of you practicing or familiarizing yourself with the word, with the function, but everything is there for you. Everything is there for you. Everything is there for you. So we are going to the next what? Next application package, that is the presentation software. We are going to the next package, which is the presentation software, which is the presentation software. So presentation software is used to create, tutamalizia Microsoft Word, tutamalizia Microsoft Word, but I wanted you to give you the word. Tukimalizana lesson ya leo, before our next lesson, nataka muende kwa the past papers na munikujie na questions yenye inauliza about this software we are just discussing now, the presentation. We are done with the spreadsheet. It is as simple as that. Ni vitu kama hizo kidogo, but if you come up with also any other question about the spreadsheet, and then you feel that you are not comfortable or you are not in a position to answer that question, kindly don't wait, because we are handling all the questions about the spreadsheet now, since tumemalizana na spreadsheet, so you don't expect it any other time. So where kama kuna swali yote after the trace class, pitia hizo papers zote, angalia kama kuna any question is correlated na spreadsheet, and then if you manage to answer it, it is well and good. If at all you face any challenge, you just let me know, and then that one you can raise it when we are in class in our next lesson, or if it is possible, we can even do that in advance, so that immediately we start the lesson, we are handling. So we are handling a spreadsheet. I don't have the presentation software. I don't know whether we'll manage kumaliza before the time, but we will try, man. Tutafikia, it will be well and good. And then tukimaliza tutaenda kwa Microsoft Word. There is a reason why nimeiweka Word. It was supposed to answer because it is hiyo nitawaambia baadaye tukidiscuss about that Microsoft Word. So presentation software is used to create presentation, quizzes, e-learning packages, information point, and many other multimedia products. So let me explain the way I understand, without even necessarily following the notes. So a presentation, it is a software designed for presentation. It has the presentation features. It has presentation features. So unasikia the word presentation. The presentation ni ile ukipresent, iko na zile features ina make that presentation iko eye-catching or ikue, interesting, make it interesting, that in a way that even if you're not interested in kuangalia your presentation, it has so many features. It has what we call the slide transition. The slide transition is where we do what? I can kwanza kuna kitu inaitwa slide. Slides is the slides makes up a PowerPoint presentation, or you can say it is a single page presentation. So that slides, if I apply transition, I will apply any style. Maybe the same hata nataka kitu inaitwa a window curtain. So ikifungua tu my slide, unaona inafungua hivi tu pole pole, and then inanifungulia the content of that slide. Move to the next slide, move to the next slide. Even if I have 20 or 40 slides, it will be like that. I'll come back shortly. I'm back. Okay, so I was just trying to explain what I have in mind, not necessarily in the notes, but what I know about the presentation, what I know about the presentation software. We have what we call the slides. So those slides makes up the PowerPoint presentation. You can either have one slide that is single page presentation, or you can have even 10, 20, or even 40 slides. It is still the word, a presentation. So these features, like for example, transition, now make it more attractive. Scene, some audience were interested. It is so eye-catching, that it will make somebody even interested. I say, hey, what is what is happening? So, and then we have also what we call animation. Animation, where we can make letters to move in a certain way, in a motion way. We can even, we can animate. We can animate the images. We can animate even the tables. We can animate even all the clippers, which is there in the word in those slides. So let us say tukikuja kwa PowerPoint, many versions, we have different versions, that is maybe inategemea na office yenye unatumia. The mostly widely used presentation software is the head, the leader on the Windows, the leader on the Windows. So the leader in Windows platform, and created Microsoft, and created by Microsoft. So anyway, the point there in PowerPoint, the mostly widely used presentation software is the leader on the Windows. Windows is an operating system, and then it is the leading the operating system in the market. And then Windows inatumia what we call what? Inatumia Microsoft PowerPoint. So hiyo ndio inatumika sana. It is created by Microsoft, and then PowerPoint can be bought separately or included in the Microsoft Office suite of programs. So PowerPoint, you can purchase it as a single program, or you can buy it as what? As a suite, So it means that suite, as a suite. If you are what? If you are complete, if you are complete, a scene, if you are na word processor, the spreadsheet, the M publisher, the access, and so on and so on. So, and then OpenOffice .organization Impress, created by a name of person you are seeing there. OpenOffice Impress as commonly used, is part of the suite of the program offered as a free download. So we can as well download this presentation software for free, not necessarily buying. But there is also disadvantages. There is that disadvantages of acquiring those software for free. It might not be so effective as the one which you buy. The suite also contain a word processor, a spreadsheet program, and drawing programs. Examples of these drawing programs is what? Is MS Paint. Examples of it is Microsoft Paint. It is Microsoft Paint. So common features of what? We come to the what? Windows Movie Maker. A desktop video program created by Microsoft, installed on every window computer. Windows Movie Maker allows you to create, edit, move, to use to the company you. Windows Movie Maker. A desktop video program created by Microsoft, installed on every Windows computer. Windows Movie Maker allows you to create and edit movies to use to accompany your presentation. Although you can also add still photos or graphics and create a slideshow, just as in PowerPoint and OpenOffice Impress. So it means that we can what? You can also, if you have what we call the movie maker in the Windows, of which it is in all the, especially for the Windows operating system, you can attach, you can even download. You can download from the internet any video, and then you can attach it to your presentation. You can attach it to your presentation, or you can collect some photos. You can collect some related or relevant photos, in connection with your presentation, and then you can tengeneza the slideshow ukitumia the slide transition or the animation effects Keynote created by all this. What you are seeing there, it is just an example of the presentation software, but maybe from different operating systems. So let us go to the common features of what? The common features of a presentation software. The common features of presentation software, we have the slides. We have the slides that can contain any mixture of text, images, video, animation, linking, and sound. Slide that can contain any mixture of text, image, video, animation, links, and sound. But this is what is slide. Slide is a single page presentation. Ungiulizwa, can you define what is a slide? It is a single page presentation. And then animation effects that allow the various elements on each slide to appear after a certain amount of time or when a presenter presses a button. So we have two methods of doing that. When I'm doing my presentation, I can go to the what? I can go to the slide transition. 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 Slide transition. And then I can do some settings. I can either decide to make it equal like a video, equal automatic. Inaenda a slide after the slide. After the first slide, the second, automatically. Yeah? I can set it like that. I will set that nikitoa kuna place in let me just demonstrate it kindly. Let me just demonstrate it practically. Okay, so let us just use that the two slides to just demonstrate what I meant. So this one, this is what I mean by the transition. So nikikuja transition, I can select the transition of my choice. I selected the transition of my choice. Let us say let me select this, let us say this one, Rabo, something like that. And then I apply to all the slides. So I can apply it even to 30 or even the number of the slides I have. So this one I've already applied, but ukikuja hapa kwa slide, kwa slides, we have on mouse click and then we have after. So this one I have to click the mouse. Nikikuja hapa kwa view and then read the view, unaona my image, and then I have to press the keyboard ndio iende the next to welcome to Destiny, where ICT is both theoretical and then it is practical for the better understanding of the student. So that one I can as well do this. Naweza kuja back kwa transition and then nitoe hii on mouse click and then niweke automatically after a duration of time. And then I go to I apply to all, I come to the view and then read view. So now it is like a video. Sasa I don't have to click. Even if I have how many slides, it will be doing what? Itakuwa inafanya hivyo yenyewe. It will be doing that. So that is what that is actually what it means. Okay, so we have the what? Animation, and then that one, slide master. This allows the style, font size, background, etc. to be set once and then used throughout the presentation. So this is a situation where the attributes of the master slide, the attributes of the master slide will affect the whole presentation. If I have like slide 1, I have slide 2, I have slide 3. So if I do some settings in the what? If I do some settings in the master slide, it will affect the entire slides in my presentation. For example, if kama umetumia some formatting features like the font size, and then like the font color, and then maybe style or any other formatting feature. So, and then maybe you may specify the size should be 13 or the size should be. So it will definitely be like that. It will definitely be like that. Okay, so we have the what? The slide transition. This is how the presentation software moves. The display one slide to another. Transition usually include dissolving from one slide to the next or the current slide being moved into same way to show the next slide as though it was underneath. So the slide transition in simple way, you know, that one determine the set presentation yangu. Whether I will be using the projector, I will be clicking that the small gadget which control the presentation, or I can either use the keyboard or I can use the mouse. For that case, going to the next slide. So it is where the slide transition is where we do those settings. We have slide notes. When these are used, the presenter will see the current slide and any notes associated with it on his or a display, and the audience will see just the slide on another screen or from the projector. So it means that if I have some descriptive, if I need to at least write a description about my slides, a summarized notes about the same. So you have your slide, down there you have your slide notes where you write some some summary, a summary notes about your presentation. So slide presentation, a PowerPoint has two methods of creating a slide presentation. Use a team templates. You can choose a team templates. You can design. You can create a blank presentation. The method is covered in unit opportunity. The PowerPoint software has built-in and free online pre-designed templates that contain various color schemes and pre-arranged elements in a slide, e.g. text and graphics. Select the template and PowerPoint will format the entire presentation according to the templates. Those are the procedures of creating a presentation. Still the procedures. This is what we call, whatever you are seeing in this shared here, it is what? It is the design. It is still the what we call the teams. Una select the, especially one yenye imeandikwa A, capital A na small a. Especially ukikuja one, we start from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The last one, that is the professional one. When you are doing your PhD or the master for that case, ukitengeneza presentation, just use that. But you can as well use, that is according to me, but where you select the slide, create a new slide. So those are the procedures also creating a what? Creating a new slides. But what you are supposed to know, we have the slides for different layouts. We have the slides for different layouts. We have the slides for different layouts. That is why there you can see we have the title, we have the title and subtitle or subtitle, and then we have title and subtitle, and then also we have the one with the two content, we have the tables, we have the charts, we have the smart charts, and so on and so on, and so forth. So we have so many other what slides. So we have the add the title, and then you can add subtitle. Those still the procedures of doing that. That is still the procedures of doing that. So you can select it. That is the procedures of selecting the what? The master slide, of which whatever you will change in the master slide, it will affect all the what? It will affect all the other slides. So and then I think this one inaonyesha clearly. Unaona hapo kwa master slide ile number 1 huko. Hizi slides zingine unaona ziko chini. Whatever, kama nikiweka image kwa hiyo master slide, it has to appear kwa the other what? The other slides. It has to appear for the other slides. The multi-label bulleted list. So that is the procedures. It is still the same bullets unafanya kwa Word. That is how to do it in PowerPoint. Slideshow, how to create. It is very simple. This is something very simple. You can set it. That is how to set it. You can even post the presentation if need be. Lakini hapo unaenda kwa wapi? Kwa pause unaenda when you are recording, especially when you are recording. When you are doing recording, you can pause it to do something, and then you can just continue. Those are the procedures on how to do that. And then we have also the slide sorter. The slide sorter, it is where we do what? We sort our slides. I can rearrange my slides. If these are my slides, I have maybe slide 1, I have slide 2, and then slide 3, and so on and so on. I can rearrange it. Nilete slide 1, which is slide 2. Ama, and vice versa. You can do that. Ukitumia the slide sorter. So in the PowerPoint, we have you can open a new presentation. There we have the slide design, we have the transition, we have the animation, we have the slideshow where you can start your presentation maybe from the middle, from the current slide, or from the beginning, and slide notes. Like those things you can just go through. You don't take it and then also this one, it will be assignment. And then the first thing in our next lesson, I want you to go through the past papers, and then on that day or the day before our lesson, you will make sure that you ask me questions. And then I give you people my number 0727 5544 39. So this one, if you have any question, you can WhatsApp me. unasema mwalimu, kuna hii swali about the presentation inachipiwa namna gani, so that we will be, tutakuwa tunatumia one stone to kill maneno ya nini. You will be doing revision at the same time tukisoma. So any question yenye correlated na presentation in the past papers, we don't have to leave it, tunavaa tujibu. So now I will be expecting you now in the overview of application packages, tunavaa to go in a position now to tujibu all the questions in the spreadsheet, all the questions about the presentation. And then if at all, because of one reason or the other, maybe kuna kitu yenye maybe it is not very clear, there is a room of asking me questions anytime, not even Sunday, even one, and then so that tusaidiane tumalizane na hizi vitu. So we have also now the what? I can see we have the accounting packages. So I think we'll be handling the accounting softwares. We'll be handling the accounting softwares. We'll be handling the accounting softwares in our next lesson. We'll be handling accounting book, and then we go back to the what? To the word processor. We go back to the word processor. And then now, I will be also doing the same. I will be doing the same. I will be going through the past papers, and then I come up with the questions for this topic, the overview of application packages. So that tumalizane nayo, maybe the next lesson tumalizane nayo, and then it will be upon use the student ungangane usome, and then so that we do our next lesson, which is the topic, which is the e-commerce. And then this one also I will be doing what? I will be sharing the notes in soft copy so that you get time to do revision, and then there is also some additional notes I will be adding in the what? I will be adding it in class. So unless there is a question, you can call it a day. Unless there is a question, you can call it a day. So tutamalizana na accounting packages na hii inaitwa nini? Accounting packages na word processor in our next lesson. I don't have any doubt with that. Hiyo tutamalizana everything. Tukimaliza hata mapema to discuss about the two packages remaining. We use the remaining time to tackle the questions related to the this topic, and correlated to these topics, so that we can proceed to the next topic. With those, we have limited time. We have the limited time. Tukimalizana mapema, hata kama ni kurudia zile topics which was not very clear, that one will be okay. So otherwise, thank you very much, Mercy, and then thank you very much, Mary. Mary niliona kwa the other class, leo nimeona kuna wenye wako manage kuingia class, but we try as much as possible hii class ya ICT to miss because of this small practical I'm doing. You know, the one you do it practically, at least mtu anaielewa zaidi. Mercy, do you have any question? Or Mary? Kwani Mercy aliweka simu on na akaenda hata yuko class. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we can meet on, when are we meeting? When are we meeting for the next class? It will be Thursday, yeah? Or we'll be meeting on Tuesday. We'll be meeting on Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Okay, so to tapatana on Tuesday. Thank you very much.